Alright. I need you, this time, to pay attention to the fucking camera. Too many times you're like, boobs, just playing off to the side. Camera. Okay?
I am looking.
Got it?
Time to leave them all
Hello and welcome to another episode of It's Those Guys Game Reviews. I am Nick Silveranato and this is
Connor Jagger.
And today's game we're reviewing is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance for the PS3, Xbox 360. Is there a PC version?
Who cares?
Well, some people might care there's a PC version.
I'm gonna play this on PC. Just move.
You buy a controller. You're playing a PC game using a controller pretty much like the same way, right?
Not every game, but whatever.
Anyway.
A spin-off game in the Metal Gear series, Revengeance stars Raiden as the main character, this time in the cyborg form, similar to how you saw him during Metal Gear Solid 4.
The story starts off as Raiden and company are doing an escort mission for the president of a country in Africa. What do these game companies seem to what's their fascination, or what do they have against Africa? It's like every game lately, something takes place or starts in Africa and it just goes horribly, horribly wrong. Come on, guys. Africa didn't do anything to you. Raiden now works for the PMC, known as Maverick. In the years after the fall of Patriots and SOP systems, cybernetics have taken a large part in the military and its soldiers.
The president is attacked and kidnapped in a terrorist plot, and Raiden goes to save him. However, he fails to save the president and is nearly killed by another cyborg that goes by the name Jetstream Sam.
Soon after, Raiden recovers and is given a new cyborg body and is sent out to find out what the terrorists, the group known as the Winds of Destruction, are up to and to put a stop to them, as well as get his revengeance.
That was terrible.
Well, let's see you come up with better writing. The game takes a departure from the stealth-oriented gameplay and a far more action hack-and-slash theme. You can attempt stealth gameplay if you want, but you get better scores by going all-out battle and ripping your enemies to shreds. You have regular and strong attacks which you can string together to make combos. As you attack enemies, your fuel cells charge up and can use blade mode.
Blade mode is an attack feature in the game which allows you to slow down the action and let you cut your enemies to pieces. You can even select parts to cut off enemies or just cut them to pieces if you see fit. Raiden also fills up his life by ripping out the fuel cells of enemy soldiers, usually by slicing them in half and ripping out their spine.
During the game you can build up BP, which I guess stands for battle points, so you can upgrade your character. You can do such things as level up your weapons, raise your health and fuel cell gauge, and upgrade your moveset for both your main weapon and secondary weapon. Secondary weapons you get from boss fights. As you beat them, you can obtain their weapons to use in combat in conjunction with your main weapon. Wait a minute. Robotic type character, kills enemies, takes their weapons, has a robot dog companion. Where have I seen this before? Speaking of boss fights, they are fun and high-energy fights which are accompanied by fast-paced music that really helps set the mood for the battle. They're pretty much what you expect character-wise, each giving their personal philosophies or reasons for fighting before the battle. But who really cares about that? You just want to kick ass, am I right?
The combat is a little over-dramatic, because when I'm trying to play, I'm fighting all these, guys, like, I'm fighting Metal Gear Ray, and while fighting him, it does all these crazy camera angles, and it's like, well, it's a little too much. It's like, alright, you want to put in those action shots, that's fine, but don't have the whole game do that.
It's pretty much just high-octane hack and slash stuff. It's almost like a beat-em-up, basically. You know, you're just going through like a wave of enemies, and then you fight a boss at the end. It's pretty good. Combat, like I said, I think it's fun. It's fast-paced. It's way off from like the Metal Gear series. Controls are, I was kind of hoping maybe they fixed them a little bit since the demo, but no, that didn't happen. Because there are times when the camera angles and the controls will kind of betray you, especially when you're trying to parry. So sometimes you'll be sitting there trying to parry, but the angle will be just slightly off, and you won't get it, and you'll get hit. And for some reason, Raiden just gets knocked confused a lot. It's like somebody like walks by him and breathes on him, all of a sudden he's like... So I don't know, something like that. Every second hit seems to stun him. You got this super robotic body which he can lift a freaking Metal Gear and flip it over, and yet somebody flicks him in the forehead and he's like
Logic.
So I don't know what's up with that. And then a lot of the bosses do end up getting kind of cheap. Nothing too bad, but I have had some rage-worthy incidents here where I just wanted to throw my controller, and in some cases almost did. Just lightly tossed it, but was this close.
Which brings me to the next point, a lack of a dodge button.
Actually, there was a dodge button.
From what I heard, it existed in the form of some dodge technique or something.
You just hit like the two side buttons at the same time, and I didn't figure this out until like the final boss fight. Then I remembered, oh wait, there was a dodge button.
But I think I think I prefer a dodge button to be assigned to one button, something you already have, not something you have to pick up.
Well, on the bright side, at least you only had to hit like one thing to do a dodge button. You didn't have something dodge right, dodge left. You just put the direction you want, and then hit the appropriate buttons to dodge. Like I said, sometimes the camera angles kind of force the parrying thing to not happen too well, and a lot of these bosses like to use moves that you can't block, making the parry option just about useless. That's when you gotta learn to dodge. Man, like I said, high octane. Raiden is still a bit of an annoying character, and then he tries to go into his Jack the Ripper phase later in the game. And for some reason, he can go into Ripper mode at a certain point in the game, which I don't even know what that does. I don't seem to do any extra damage or move any faster. I still can get hurt and stunned, so it's like a just shitty addition that really didn't add anything to the game. It's a pretty short game, basically because they don't oversaturate the game with cutscenes or anything else like that. You still get a pretty good, decent amount of cutscenes, and some of the characters are pretty interesting, although I think the accents have been a little over the top, but come on. Stereotypical accents, that's like a staple of the Metal Gear games.
And all these games with accents, they're always British or something.
No British ones, but you had the stereotypical Russian guy, you had the stereotypical black guy, and the stereotypical computer genius girl who would be hot if she just undid her hair and took her glasses off. And then,
AKA Blonde Hunnigan.
And then you got your German doctor, or Swede doctor, I don't know. Whatever. So yeah, all that's there, plus the over-the-top villains with just, you know, just like with their accents and their philosophies. They're all angry at the world or some shit like that. But hey, what else do you expect from a Metal Gear game? And yes, you fight a few Metal Gears along the way.
Are they all Rays? I'm pretty sure they're all Metal Gear Rays.
Actually, I fight one. Actually, I think you only fight like 2 Metal Gears. There's Ray, and there's a new type you fight at the end of towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spoil anything.
Even though the final boss does come out of fucking nowhere.
Just like, yeah, I'm gonna say it is like one of the most ridiculous final bosses I have ever. I think it's the most ridiculous
comes out
boss
of nowhere.
I've ever played. I'm like, what? This is a fucking boss fight? I mean, it was a pretty cool fight, even though I think it got a little too quick-timey there. I'm like, there are some quick-time events, but you don't do as much as you would think. But in the final boss, for some reason, they threw a lot of them in there. But whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and give this game a B+. Camera angles, basically because camera angles and controls, like I said, kind of betray each other. They don't seem to work well together, and it's not really something they fix a lot in 3D type games, but I don't know if they ever will. Maybe one day they will.
I'm going to have to go below 2 levels and give it a B-.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't entirely like the whole idea that every time I'm trying to fight something bigger, I don't want to have all these unnecessarily epic camera angles do all this stuff for me, because it goes into like complete slow-mo. It's like, I just want to play the game.
So there you go. This has been another episode of It's Those Guys Game Reviews. We'll see you next time.